And we are live here. A quick little Saturday afternoon stream, Sunday afternoon stream. Holy cow, Ray!
Yeah, it's
It's
Sunday.
Sunday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. It's man. We talk about this all the time. But so you got the new setup here. It's looking pretty good. You get the microphone going. You got the little windscreen on there. You got the arm going. Now you look pretty professional. So let's go to Ray with the traffic right now.
Yeah, well, let's say the traffic right now is very light. Everybody's staying home, which is what they're supposed to be doing.
You do. You got that radio voice thing going. So what you have
that's good.
So it's obviously it's a decent mic. It's the mic there, but you have a program you're running too, right?
Yeah, so with a Yeti Blue mic, that was a great recommendation by you and by Ron as well. And then I found a little piece of software called Voice Meter, and meter spelt with MEETER, Voice Meter.
Okay.
And with a little bit of just a little bit of installation. There's some great YouTube videos on how to use it. I can actually change a little bit of effect of the voice and tune it just a little bit, which is exactly where I wanted to be. The Yeti Blue, awesome mic, but a little bit of tweaking just got it right.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Now check out this. We were playing with this off here, so I have this Rode mixer here. It's got Aphex processing on board. Okay, it's the Rode. I forget the name of this now. It's a Rode. Rodecaster Pro is the name of this mixer. And now check this out. We were playing with this off here. So this is me talking into the mixer with all the Aphex processing on. Now here is nothing. So this is how I sound, just microphone into mixer.
Right.
It is really night and day, isn't it? So here's how I sound. And I put all the processing back on, and now I sound like a radio guy.
Yeah, that sounds much better.
Yeah, but you do. You get you look like you're on the news over there. You got the camera coming down at you. Looks like you're reading the script and go. So in the news today, the Boston Red Sox made a huge trade here.
If I could get the mic a little bit more in my face, I'd be going for the Howard Stern look. He likes to take the mic and kind of bury his face, like only have like half of his face showing.
Well,
he does kind of the same thing on Side Address.
There's a little trick here, so you can see where I am right now. Okay, sometimes when you do these shows, the audio and the video don't line up. So a little trick. If I did this now you can't see my lips moving. So if by chance the audio and the video are off a little bit, it's not as noticeable.
Yeah, so that's true.
That's a little trick that some people use because sometimes when you're doing these, because nothing worse than watching a video and it's like, yeah, hi. And it's off. It just drives you nuts. And sometimes this works pretty well, and other times there's an issue with it. But so let me check this out here. So I want to go to I was playing around with some stuff here, Ray. So let me know how this sounds.
I am a dragon. Stay away. Stay away from me. I'm a dragon. I'm a talking tree. I can be a talking tree. Stay away.
Or I can be a fae, and I'm a magical creature, and yeah.
Well, that's your normal voice, isn't it? That's how it's on the mic set up normal.
I can be a Santa. I can be the dragon. The dragon sounds good. Stay away from my gold.
Yeah, there you go. It's got to have the
gold.
echo. Yeah, definitely have the echo for that.
No.
Hey, the squirrel? I'm a squirrel. Yes, I am. I'm a squirrel.
The new Disney movie coming out. Dave Gardner is the squirrel in.
Attention, all planets of the Solar Federation. This is a good robot. I like the Star Wars one. What are those little droids in the like episodes 1, 2, and 3? Those little droids.
Yeah.
Roger. You really have some fun with this thing. I'm gonna be Space Squirrel, and I'm gonna zoom across the galaxies into the star system, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna bring everybody nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. So is this and this is all software on your computer that you're doing it through?
Yeah, I bought a program called MorphVox Pro. And it comes with a handful of voices, and there's a couple of packs you got to buy. I think I spent $40 or $50 total on a lot of stuff that I bought, and I was using it for my other podcast because I have another podcast where I have an old man's voice, and
there you go. Yep.
I pretend I'm my grandfather or a fictional grandfather. Excuse me, and
Right.
I do this voice, and so it works out pretty well. And you want to know a funny thing? So here's the voice. I'll play it for you just to see. Is this let's see, is this Grandpa?
Not yet.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta get it. Oh boy. Number 7. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so let me switch it over here to my mic. So this is when I do my other podcast, it's this is the old man voice that I use.
So this is the voice I use. My fictional grandfather. I was in the war. I was sent overseas. Didn't want to go, but everybody had to. I was put in a special unit. So that's the voice I use.
Yeah, that's
back.
fantastic. I like that one.
So you heard that, right? So
Right.
that doesn't sound too bad, right?
Right.
That doesn't sound very bad. So that is what I use when I for this other podcast I'm doing. It's a fictional podcast, so I use that voice. I've kind of more. It was an old man voice, and I tweaked it a little bit, and it doesn't sound bad. It sounds like me a little bit, but you get the idea that it's supposed to be a recording on an old cassette deck, from an old man.
Yeah.
So this grandfather of mine left all these tapes, and I'm listening to these tapes, and he's telling all these weird stories. Is what this podcast is about, right? It's just a fun fictional thing, right?
Yep.
And so what was funny about it is I was listening to, hi there, we're just playing around here. My friend got a new mic. We're just testing it out because I want to see how it sounds if we go live. So anyway, so I'm listening to Adam Shine. You ever heard of Adam Shine, the sportscaster?
No,
no. He does a show he does a show on satellite radio. He does Time to Shine. He does I think it's on CBS Sports, a Fox Sports 1. He has a show at night, a video show on TV, but he has a morning radio show, and I like him. And right after the Tom Brady got traded, it was Monday morning, and he took a phone call, and it was like, so now let's go to Mike in Boston. Mike, I kind of figured to be calling. Welcome, you're first on Shine on Sports. And this guy started talking like, oh, I can't believe you get rid of Tom Brady. And that grandfather's voice. Grandfather's voice is exactly how this guy sounded.
Oh, no kidding.
No joke. Funny. This guy sounded just like that old man's voice. And I went back and I recorded it, and I played it for some people that heard this other podcast that did, and they're like, no way, that's you on the voice thing. I said, no, this is the guy on the radio. He sounds just like me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you lost sound. I'm not sure what happened here. Ray, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, yeah.
I've been playing around with my sound settings. Let me see. I'm going to go to my YouTube and see if I'm coming through or not. But Ray, you sound good. And so hopefully it'll default to that settings, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think the voice meter, the big thing I have to remember, obviously, when I go in to use the mic is changing the audio settings.
Okay.
Yeah, so it sounds like I'm on YouTube there.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like I'm coming through.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you are. I'm not coming through. Oh, no, now I am.
Please stand by for Dave Gardner.
Oh, no, I am. I'm coming through now. I just monitoring the chat here. So, yeah, I was playing around with the different mics, so it's quite possible that it took a second to click over there, but no, it's not. It sounds like that I'm coming through now.
On this one thing I was going to tell you on this voice meter thing, there's another piece of what looks like, of course, this is all for non-commercial use, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. We're just doing this for fun.
Yeah, well, there's no,
and I'm not making any
money
monetary on this, right? Just in case voice meters out there happens to watch this.
Well, there's no money being exchanged. This is just us chatting and having some fun, and so there's a lot of things you can do with the free stuff there. I think it's more or less if you get on a radio show, if you said, yeah, I'm gonna get on and I'm gonna work for W Hartford, whatever, then it'd be a problem, but.
So they also have, as part of a free piece of software, there's the thing that they call the MT32 sound pad.
Okay.
And you can actually take this And I imagine, I mean, they're showing it where you could set it up on a touch screen, but it's freeware as well. So you could do your sound effects set up basically on a virtual screen and be able to click on, and do sound effects and whatnot through their software as well. So kind of neat. I mean, like, I'm a Howard Stern fan, and Fred Norris is always there with all the drops and whatnot. And you always wonder how he gets them so fast because they're just there. I mean,
Right.
He's got it pretty well planned or pretty well done, and neat to see little pieces like that where you could add a little bit. And I know you have some sound effects off to your side that you were able to do.
On my
And,
my Rode over here, it's got 8 touch pads, and I got the intro and the outro to our Digital to Dice podcast, which is actually music. And then it came with and I think it came with 8 different pre-recorded sounds on there.
Yep.
I maybe more, but I selected the 8 that I liked. And then
I'm not
but yeah, so I got the hey, let's go. Remember that time?
Yeah, there you go.
It's got a few like
the
that I
dream
use.
tweet.
There's
The
only a
dream
few,
intro.
I got a
have
handful
that.
that I use that are just kind of fun. I try not to use them too much, but
Right. Yeah, it was just neat to see that, that at least, and again, another, program that it looks to be, free to use, donationware. And, obviously if you find it useful, you can send them some money and thank them for using it. But
I tend to do that. If I get something for free and it's like it's donation, if I use it a lot, because sometimes you use it once or twice and like, oh, I'll never use this and sucks, whatever. But I mean, if I start to use it a lot, I'll send them something. I will. Even if it's $5, $10, $20, depends how much I use it. It's like, I think it's only right. They're being fair about it. I'll be fair back.
Absolutely.
So, but you get the mic sounding good. It's all professional over there. What you get the? I'm trying to think here. What is that thing on there now? Is that that little box? And what's that little box in the mic
That's
thing?
cool. That's a mic flag.
Yeah.
So like you'll see broadcast studios have it. So here's what I've done. I've set it up to be rotational. So I've got that side, which is my, my train logo. I do my train videos and my photography under that logo, under 35 photography and 35 productions. I can also rotate it. And now we're doing ECRHL.
That's
so
sweet.
Anything league road.
Now, how did you get those on there? Did you order it like that or?
No, I thanks to Fast Signs of Waterford who did the logos for me. So you can just buy the mic flag. I did it through B&H. It was dirt cheap. It wasn't very much money. And then it's got blades, like rubber blades, and adjustable so you can fit it. I actually had to wrap some gaffer's tape around it to make it big enough for the mic flag to stay there. But those decals there were from Fast Signs of Waterford. They did those for me. And then these are just ones that I have picked up. These were some inexpensive decals that I had ordered for it. So, yeah. So now I can, depending on what I'm doing, I can rotate it around, show the railroad logo, show the ECRHL logo, just have a little fun. It's something I had kicking around. We did when we were doing the league stuff. We had it on a mic and we were putting it in front of people's faces and taking pictures, making it look like they're being interviewed after the game. We were doing a little bit of that for a while, and then ended up putting it on the mic for the Lambert tournament for the national anthem and whatnot. But
I think I saw some of those in the past. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we probably won't do that at all because it's hard to notice when in those scenes. But for here, it was kind of fun, just something to throw on the mic and have it look even a little better. And all this all really done on a budget. The arm was cheap. It was like $30 or something like that. And then I got the shock mount for it, and that was like $14. That all came off of eBay. So
I don't have the shock mount here. I don't really need too much of it. I mean, I can move around here, and there's really not a lot of noise.
No, yours is a pretty good. And you do, and then you also have the front address. It really was more to turn the mic in this angle, and might as well add the shock mount, because otherwise you can see that, and it's kind of hard to see in this video, but we're coming down here. So if I would have mounted the mic here, it would have been straight at me. And this, as you know, and you taught me, this is a side address on mic, not a front address. So I would have had to then in turn had the arm out here somewhere to try to get it sideways. So really what the shock mount did is it was able to help me get that angle I needed to get this side addressed.
Right. So. Yeah. In fact, I've seen some people, there's some people that got like thousands and thousands of subscribers on their YouTube channel, and they got a mic like that, and it's pointed straight at them like this. And it's like,
Yeah.
no. It's you know, you need to have it. You know, you on this one you're talking to the top. On the other one you're talking to the side, like
Yeah.
yours. You know what I mean? And these
Right.
people got it like pointed, so they're talking into the tip. I'm like, man, no, you could sound way better.
Yeah.
Gutshot, thank you. Yeah, Ray does sound good. He's got that new mic set up and he's got that program going. Yeah, so I said let's go live and see how it sounds. So
Yeah,
we're
that's
just doing
awesome. I appreciate that.
we're just doing a mic test here. So he sounds good. He sounds better than me. And I got this nice Rode setup over here.
Yeah.
But I've always liked this mic, the Shure SM7B. I've had this probably over 10 years now. When I started to use, I had a condenser mic and I got a shock mount like that for my condenser mic. And condenser mic sounds really nice. They do. They sound really nice.
Yeah.
But it picks up everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if my neighbor flushes the toilet, I hear it on the condenser mic. So I can't use it here because I got that little small hot tub down here that's always kicking on. I got my furnace that's kicking on. I got dogs that are barking. So it picks up so much that you really need a studio. So the Shure SM7B has a real low gain. Real low gain. You gotta, when I had my other mixer, there's like a pre gain on it. You have to crank that all the way up to get a sound out of this mic. So it's really it's what I like about this mic here is it doesn't have any electrical interference. That's what it's designed for. So that's the first reason I got it. And the second reason why is that it doesn't pick up everything, but it picks up nice right here. This is what you want. You want right here. This is not designed to record a band or anything like that. This is for sitting in front of the mic right here. So one of the other goalies, hi Nate. Thanks for tuning. We're just kind of doing a quick test this afternoon because there's nothing else going on. Hey, that WrestleMania, is that tonight? WrestleMania with no fans in the stands?
You're asking the wrong guy about WrestleMania.
Come on, man.
No. If you want to ask me questions about the movie The Wrestler, I got you covered. But the actual WWE, no. I wouldn't.
Yeah, they're supposed to have wrestling.
Yeah. Did that change anything?
Yeah, you sound a lot lower now. Your volume went way down.
Okay, so I hit the feeder gain. What I was trying to do is when I wasn't talking, drop it so that the mic wasn't picking up anything. So I'm going to stop talking for a second.
It's pretty quiet. I mean, if you wanted to, you could get a noise gate program, and I have a noise gate built in on this right here. So when I start talking, it basically shuts it off. So nothing comes through until you start talking again.
Right. And that's, I was just trying, because I know that the girls are outside the door and I can hear them, through, ambiance or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I'm not sure if you're picking up on it or because
no, I'm not hearing it. I get headphones on too. I tend to think that like my dog will start barking and I'll hear him in my headphones, but other people won't, because it probably has to be a pretty dominant sound to come through.
Yeah. So I was just playing with the fader gain not on the mic. The mic, I've got it all the way down because it's a very, like you guys had mentioned, it's very sensitive.
Yeah. You need to put it on like 5 or 10 out of 100. You really do.
I dropped the gain completely out on the mic. And then I also changed one of the other settings that they say better to use on the Yeti. I forgot which one it was now, and I can't see it without sticking my head on the other side.
Yeah, you're supposed to put, I think it's on setting 3 out of 4.
Something like that. Yeah, it's got a shape of almost like a heart, not quite a heart, but it's kind of got that idea. Yeah. But yeah, I tried to just drop that fader gain, and you said it definitely got quieter.
I lost you. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll leave that alone. I'll leave that right up there.
So, yeah, I like the old wrestlers, too. In fact, anytime I do any kind of wrestling game, I always go for the older guys, Undertaker, Jimmy Snuka, and guys like that. I don't know any of the new wrestlers. If I turned it on, I stopped watching wrestling probably 20 years ago. Because we moved into the house here 23 years ago, something like that. And we watched it for a while, and she liked it, and I liked it. And then it got a little silly, and it got out of hand. And then they just kept introducing new people, and it just got so flooded that it was just, there was so many wrestlers, and you couldn't bond with anybody because there was so many of them. It was like, man, it's like when you had 25 wrestlers, you could, whatever, but now you got 50 wrestlers, and you're like, man, it's like, you don't know who's going to come out on any given night. And it was just too much. It was too many.
My, my buddy Steve-O, who's, long past now, but when he went back up to Berlin, New Hampshire, he was a big wrestling guy. And one of the reasons he loved going back home was the local public access showed like Friday night wrestling
Oh, really?
at some gymnasium somewhere up in either New Hampshire or somewhere up there. And it was that was fun to watch because it was like all these local guys trying to,
Yeah.
do it. And the broadcast obviously wasn't the greatest of quality, and it just made it all that much more enjoyable to watch. And I got to do that a couple times with him up there, is watch his Friday night wrestling.
The Junkyard Dog. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah.
JYD. I used to do wrestling. I worked for Killer Kowalski for a while. Back in the
right? Yeah.
late 80s. Yeah. Early 90s. Maybe for like a year, maybe. And he was trying to get a wrestling league going. And so he was working with a local cable company out of Peabody, Linfield. And it just so happened I was living in Linfield at the time, and I was taking their course. They offered a free course for residents to get on and use the stuff. And so we did these fun shows and did some fun videos. And he walked in one day. He's like, I need some people. So like, we have your people. And so we went there, and I was running camera and I was running control room. And we did, I think we went to Homan Stadium up there in New Hampshire. Is that at the baseball field? I think Homing Stadium or Homan Stadium, something like that. It's a pretty decent sized baseball field up in New Hampshire.
Sure.
And they had an outdoor event one time, and we had to go and we set up all the cameras, and I was the control person. And so I was sitting in here, and I had all the view of all the different cameras. And this is 20 years ago. So nothing was computer. It was this with 6 screens, 6 tiny little TV screens. Okay. Like you see like in a surveillance room. Okay. This was not on the computer. It was all just, so it was cameras running into a whatever kind of system and into this thing. And I had headphones on, and Kowalski was in the dressing room, and he'd be telling me what's going on. So I knew what camera to go to. He's like,
awesome.
He goes, make sure you get over there and the guy in the green. So like camera 1, get on the guy in the green. And he would go and something would happen. He's like, okay, now guy in the blue. All right, camera 3, guy in the blue right now. And then I hit the punch in 3, He's like, give me a wide shot. All right, gonna go wide shot. Camera 2, stay wide, camera 2. And I hit camera 2, And then, and so he would follow the guys around the wrestling ring and going in and out of the, because they come out of the dugout to go to the ring because it was at a baseball stadium. It was it was a good time, really good time. I did a lot of stuff. I did some camera for him, and I did, like I say, the control room there, and I would hang out with the wrestlers and have a beer with them after. And they were pretty decent guys, and some are local. There was I think Iron Mike Sharp was there.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And I want to say Big John Studd. There was one monster wrestler, and he wasn't supposed to be there. He almost got in a lot of trouble because he was supposed to only do WWF as at WWF at the time. But he went. He did this event. He went in and out real fast, and no one saw him. But Iron Mike Sharp, I saw. There was one Russian guy too, Ivan Putski, maybe he was there. So it was fun. It was a good time. I enjoyed that.
I've been sitting here trying to think of the wrestler that we had in my hometown here, and he was a fairly decent name, and boy, the name just escapes me, and of course it kills the story because I can't think of his name. But it was an absolute riot because he was running a wrestling school in the basement of one of my buddy's parents had, and he rented the house, and in the basement he was doing like wrestling school. So we could be outside, never got to go downstairs and see it, but we could hear outside, and all you could hear was like just them slamming each other down and the grunting and groaning coming from the basement. And
did that.
I wish I could think of this guy's name. It is just escaping me.
Were you ever there in Holbrook when they had the wrestling ring set up?
No, that would have been fantastic though.
There was some local guys, some local league down there, and they actually did a couple events at the rink that we went to, and they put on a really good show. But anyway, they would practice there, and so they set up the rink right when you walked into the Holbrook rink. You know how like there was the net right at you. They would go off to the right, and somehow there was just enough room to put a wrestling ring. So we're playing hockey, and it's like all you hear was slam, slam, slam. It was loud. It was loud.
Fantastic.
It was hilarious, that they were in there doing this stuff, and doing the whole wrestling thing. So
we got a couple guys in our league that are into it. I know one guy who used to run our league had a wrestling ring in his backyard and was doing, kind of like shows for people that he knew and that kind of stuff, but actually built a wrestling ring in his backyard.
Oh, wow.
And Yeah, I think he's long since sold it. But we always said that'd be great to bring down to the Groton hockey rink, set it up in the middle, and just have like an event right there in the ring.
I look at that now. I mean,
hilarious.
If I was 20, I might, but now that I'm older now, there's no way
Yeah.
you see me slamming or stuff like that. I don't know how they don't get more hurt. I know it's technically they're not really punching each other, but they're slamming each other and they're coming off the top rope. So there's a lot of physical stuff going on.
No doubt.
Did you ever see the South Park when they mocked wrestling?
Oh,
they put up the ring in the backyard and they come out and they never wrestled. It was all a story. And then one by one, like people in the town came to watch them and they built stands and they packed it like I don't know, it was every night or once a week, whatever it was. They come out to do these shows and the whole town showed up. Yeah. And then finally I think WWE come in and I don't know if they signed him or shut him down or what they did, but it was just funny. They all come out in costume and they never wrestled a single bit. It was all just coming out talking into the mic. It's like, you did this and you did that. And, you left me when I needed you the most. And they're like, boo, boo. And the other wrestlers like, well, I only did that because you did this and boo, boo. They had this whole skit going on of not even wrestling. It was just a story. And that was really fun.
It's bad, Irene. And then Cartman comes out dressed as a woman.
Yeah. Did he say something like, I've had 6 abortions or something like that?
I've had 6 abortions, you guys. Yeah, I'm setting up to have another abortion.
Oh, yeah.
It was that was a great one. But yeah, I mentioned to you earlier, the one movie I do enjoy, of all of that is The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. And I could watch that 100 times. And I posted the other day on my own Facebook page that I watched the movie 3 times, twice for the movie. And then the third time was just for the soundtrack. Cause it is that old 80s metal.
Oh, really?
They've got Accept in there and there's some Rat. Who else? Quiet Riot's in there. The soundtrack's awesome. And then there's a line that the wrestler says there when he's in the bar. There's a scene and the Rat comes on and he's dancing around to it and whatnot with the Marissa Tomei character. And then he says something to the effect. He's naming all the bands and how great the 80s were. And then he says, yeah, that P word, Kurt Cobain came in and ruined everything for us. And it was just a great line in the movie. I botched it, but it was just a great moment there. So
I'll have to check that out. I don't think I've seen that one.
You've never seen The Wrestler? Oh, that is a great. You would really enjoy. I think it was Steve-O's favorite movie of it was really good, and I enjoy watching it and catching up. Watching it from time to time. Never gets old.
Yeah, well, it's a good soundtrack. It's pretty good. Do you know what movie I've seen that has a fantastic soundtrack? Is it? I think it's Escape from Mars.
Oh, is that right? I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's a John Carpenter movie, and I think it's called Escape from Mars or something like that. I think it's got Ice Cube in it, and it's Jason Statham's in it. It's an older movie. Let's see if I can see if that's what it's called. Escape from Mars. So is this what it is here? No, it's not what it's called. It's something about Mars, and it's a John Carpenter movie, but it's total metal. There's no songs, but the metal soundtrack. Mars movie, John.
While you're doing that, can you hear any of that?
Ghosts of Mars. It's called. I can hear my dog barking. That's about it.
Okay.
Ghosts of Mars. It was called 2001 sci-fi horror movie. It's a pretty gory movie, but the soundtrack was just all metal, and it was really good. So I sometimes I watch that movie just for the sound, because it's just like it's about people on Mars, and they open up. I don't know if they've colonized it or if they're getting resources off of Mars, but they got like a train track and a couple of small settlements, and I'm not sure if the air is breathable or not. I'm not 100% sure about this movie, but they open up some mountain or some burial chamber, and they release all these demons, and they take over all the people of the colony, and they just start killing everybody. So it's about people trying to escape, basically zombies, but it's just, they all got like somehow they dug out all this swords and this old garb, and they just like pitchforks and torches, and it was a crazy movie. And people are trying to escape on this train to get away from the crazies. And but the metal soundtrack in Ghosts of Mars was really good. If you like a good metal soundtrack, and not like that crazy metal either, just like a good solid, Judas Priest type of sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's what it was good with this one. I think I think they had a little GNR, and then like I said, some except. The Balls to the Wall was one of his songs, and Quiet Riot, Metal Health, that was that kind of stuff. So that song got stuck in my head. I've been listening to that quite a bit lately. So a little Quiet Riot. So
that stuff's good. I still listen to all that stuff all the time.
Yep.
So anyway, all right, well, we can jump out here. I just wanted to test your mic so you can go back and listen to the video and see how it sounds, and I can actually go back myself and listen to see how the dragon sounds. See if that.
There you go. Yep. Yeah.
So I just wonder if it took some time for my other mic to come back, because that'd be I need to know that. So if I go back and listen and see that the dragon come through, but then it took a minute for the mic to click over to the.
Do you hear the dragon in your monitor?
Yeah, it's kind of messed up because I hear me and the dragon. And so
really?
It's hard to, so it's almost better off if you don't have headphones on, because as you know, like that high voice, when I started talking, I was the fairy voice, and it's like, oh, you talk like this, you start talking like that, and it just goes up way high. You start talking really fast, and then the dragon being low, you start talking like this, and then the dragon. So you need to almost not hear the dragon and just talk normally, because if you hear something lower, you tend to talk lower.
Yeah, like
and that wrecks the dragon voice.
Yeah, like when I was hearing myself not in time,
right?
Slow down, kind of that same effect. Yeah,
yeah.
What you end up doing with it. So
so
cool,
anyway,
great.
All right, so anybody that was joining us live, thank you. We just kind of jumped on. Ray wanted to test out his microphone and some settings. That's what we did here. Hopefully, we'll be back tonight with our typical show between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, as we have our little support therapy show. Last night we did a long one last night. Ron and myself were joined by Al, Red Sox fan, and he's always fun to have on. So we went nearly 3 hours last night. Wow. That was that was a good time last night. We went a long time last night and played some old videos off of YouTube, some television commercials and stuff like that. So we had a really good time on last night's show. So hopefully we'll have a good time tonight. Be a lot shorter tonight. I guarantee that. It's not going to be a long one tonight. That's for sure. So anyway, so
run up too late.
Yeah, so all right, we just wanted to test out Ray's microphone. Thanks for joining us here on a Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody's safe, and we'll try to catch everybody tonight around 6:30 or so. I'm Dave.
Awesome.
That's Ray. Bye-bye.
See ya.